Thanks a lot for staying with us. Now, World Athletics, which is the global athletics body, has banned male to female transgenders from competing in the female category at international events. This decision means that individuals who have gone through male puberty and have transitioned to female will no longer be eligible to compete in women's events at least. This decision is based on the organization's belief that allowing transgender women to compete in women's events gives them an unfair advantage due to their previous male physiology. But transgender athletes will be allowed to compete in male events or mixed gender events depending on their eligibility. World Athletics chief Sebastian Coe added that this move had become necessary to protect the female category. Earlier, transgender women were allowed to compete in women categories with some conditions, but several sports governing bodies had begun to bar them.
Council has agreed to exclude male to female transgender athletes who have been through male puberty from female world ranking competitions from March the 31st this year. However, in order to do further research into our transgender eligibility guidelines, we will be establishing a working group whose remit will be to consult specifically with transgender athletes to seek views on competing in athletics, to review and maybe commission additional research where there is currently limited research, and to put forward recommendations to Council. The working group will include an independent chair, up to 3 Council members, 2 athletes from the Athletes Commission, a transgender athlete from athletics, 3 representatives of our member federations, and representatives of the World Athletics Health and Science Department.
Now, here are some prominent trans athletes who had captured headlines by winning women's competitions. Leah Catherine Thomas is an American swimmer. She competed on her university's men's swim team from 2017 to 2020, but on the women's swim team from 2021 to 2022. Laurel Hubbard is a New Zealand weightlifter. She was the first openly transgender woman to compete in the Olympic Games in 2020. She had set records in several men's weightlifting events in her home country before transitioning in 2012. Hannah Mounsey is an Australian handball player who previously competed in men's handball before transitioning. She has since competed in the women's category. Now, this is a decision that has been taken after years of deliberations, and many female athletes were also demanding it, even by boycotting events. So here are some of the arguments in favor of this ban. Male puberty provides these athletes significant advantages, which gives males physiological advantages over females. Males develop denser bones, more muscle tissue, for example. Males also have higher strength, speed, height, and lung capacity. Many studies have also shown that transition therapy that some of these transgenders go through doesn't remove the advantages they gain during puberty. And there was a growing fear that females will get diminished in sport if not protected. Some trans athletes have come out condemning the World Athletics decision. Kristen Worley, for example, has said that this is a disheartening and disappointing decision. Nikki Carlin, another transgender athlete, has said that the move will embolden forces of hate against transgender people. But remember, there are several transitioned as well as female athletes who support this. Now, Caitlyn Jenner is arguably the most prominent trans athlete, but she was a male when she won at the Olympics. She had said earlier that if you go through male puberty, you should not be able to take medals away from females, period. Meanwhile, Sharon Davies is a 1980 Olympics medalist, has been a vocal critic of trans participation. She welcomed the decision by saying that trans athletes do not get to pick which category they want to go into. We all get to compete in the category we qualify for. Listen in to some more reactions.
Well, I wasn't thoroughly surprised by it because Sebastian Coe had made some conversation around this to the effect of that he might see athletics going down the same path as world swimming has. So, and of course, it was, around about a year ago, they had put a blanket ban on transgender women who have undergone what they're calling a male puberty from participating in swimming events or all the aquatic sports. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised.
It's not a ban, it just actually moves to protect the female category to female competitors. And it was an excellent decision. But, it's all the national athletic federations that we really need to thank for this, as they pushed back against World Athletics' failed experiment to continue with testosterone reduction for males who identified as females in female sport. So it's really reassuring to hear President Seb Coe come out and say they've got to maintain fairness for female participation above all other considerations. It was just wonderful to finally hear that, because we've been fighting this for quite some time.
Now, rules have also been changed for DSD athletes. Differences of sex development athletes are individuals who have genetic variations that affect the development of their reproductive or sexual anatomy. The new rules concerning DSD athletes require these athletes to reduce their testosterone levels below 2.5 nmol per litre for at least 6 months to compete internationally in a female category in any event now. This was previously allowed till 5 nmol per litre. Previously, DSD athletes were required to lower their testosterone to compete in female events between 400 meters and the mile. Athletes in these categories now will need to keep their testosterone levels below 2.5 new limit for at least 24 months to compete. DSD athletes have also been a bone of contention in female categories. Here are some prominent athletes that fall into this category. Caster Semenya is the South African middle distance runner that many may have heard of. She's been at the center of controversy over her eligibility to compete in women's sports due to her naturally high levels of testosterone. She's won multiple Olympic and World Championship medals in the 800 meters and other events. Francine Niyonsaba is a Burundian middle distance runner. She won a silver medal at the 800 meters at the 2016 Olympics and has won multiple World Championship medals. Duti Chand is the current national champion in India who's provisionally suspended for doping. She's won 2 silver medals at the 2018 Asian Games and has also competed at the Olympics. So the big discussion that's coming up now, transitioned athletes especially being barred from female sports to protect the female category, is this the right call?
It's more upsetting than anything, because what's happening is the most vulnerable are being excluded from sport, and more for political reasons and not based on actual science and research.
Well, it's not a ban, it just actually moves to protect the female category to female competitors. And it was an excellent decision.